Ladies and gentlemen, another altcoin alert. This coin, ICP, also known as Internet Computer, could be one of those coins that may be finally looking for a minimum 5x gain to the upside, just based on the technicals alone from these levels. Could it go even further? Absolutely possible. We could see ICP even possibly reaching new highs of even $150 per coin based on the possible Wave 3 continuation that we have here in the yellow. How can we get there? Well, that is where I will do my best to discuss on how we can get there by utilizing one technical analysis strategy known as the Elliott Wave Theory. Now, as a quick disclaimer, none of this is financial advice, and everything I show in today's video is merely for educational purposes only. Now, this is one coin that I was personally stopped out on when we were trading around $20 back during the downtrend, but it has regained my interest and now may be presenting a massive opportunity once again after this run up we just had, and now the pullback we just got could be finished or very close to finishing its correction. Assuming that positive market conditions continue forward and increased adoption for this coin also continues and also becomes even a preferred platform for building decentralized applications due to its scalability performance, we could see this coin going to aggressive new highs like I have shown here, just based on that demand alone. That observation is assumed by this possible Wave 3 in the yellow circle. Now, this coin has gotten a bad rap over the years due to its performance, but these coins are the ones I personally look for since community strength is one of those factors that I look for when choosing a coin. Now, another example is XRP or Ripple, like I have shown in my previous videos, as that coin also gets a bad rap, but I approach the markets from a contrarian point of view. I was a bit surprised that the ICP community is still thriving to this day and perhaps even arguably stronger than before. Now, let's get right into the technicals and wave counts. On the macro, what we have here is a possible finished correction. A correction is comprised of an ABC or WXY complex correction, but we have here is a simple idealized ABC correction to complete a larger wave 2. Now, very simply put, corrections occur in wave 2s or 4s within a 5-wave impulse and are generally comprised of 3 subwaves, either labeled as an ABC or WXY, making it a corrective pattern. It can take various forms, including zigzags, flats, or complex corrections, and that is where the WXY pattern comes into play, such as multiple zigzags or combinations. Now, even within a larger bear market correction like we had for ICP and the rest of the market psychology behind that, or for these larger corrections, are often reflected as a denial phase where investors are skeptical of any possible new trend being formed. Most will believe that the previous trend is still intact with every pump. Now, the most important thing about these corrective waves is that you're able to identify a completed trend, and these will often provide a buying opportunity if you as a trader believe that a wave 3 is going to be following, known as the impulsive wave 3, as we have here. Most importantly, you want to be looking for confirmation after the assumed correction that has completed, and in this case we do have an assumed completion, and after that for a 5-wave move up into a wave 1, and then an ABC or WXY correction like we have here. Like I mentioned, the different types of corrective patterns are also possible for wave 2 corrections into the smaller degree wave 2 of the primary. Now, this is a critical retracement phase because it tests the possible newly established trend to the upside where we can maybe capitalize on the next impulsive move, and in this case a possible wave 3. And these wave 3s are the ones you want to be capitalizing on as a bull, no matter which degree you're on. If you're confused, not to worry, because all we have to do is refer back to the basic 5-wave pattern of the Elliott Wave Theory, like I have shown here, of the 5-wave pattern and a 3-wave correction. Now, in the larger trend, this is the larger trend, since we have assumed that a wave 2 has terminated on the macro, right here, ladies and gentlemen, this wave 3 now has to be created in a 5-wave impulse because wave 3s are comprised of 5 waves. Waves 1, 3, and 5 are the only ones comprised of 5 waves. So waves 1 is comprised of 5 waves, wave 3 is comprised of 5 waves, and wave 5 is comprised of 5 waves. And like I mentioned, we want to be capitalizing as much as we can on these wave 3s, as the basic observation is that the wave 3 is typically going to be the longest wave. Now, keyword here is typically, because there are a few caveats to the rules where we may see different observations in the market, where wave 3s can be the second longest wave in the overall 5-wave structure. We could see wave 1s or wave 5 also be longer than wave 3s, but most importantly, wave 3s can't be the shortest wave, but still that is enough for us to possibly capitalize on. Now, if we look at this structure here, this may be the beginning of the internal 1-2 structure of this wave 3. So as you can see on this map, we have the possible 5-wave move up, we have this 5-wave move up, and we have a possible 1-2 correction as a WXY, because a WXY is in the form of a complex correction known as multiple zigzags or a double zigzag, where we have an ABC going into a wave W, we have a triangle for wave X, and wave X's could be any corrective pattern, even for a triangle here, and we have another ABC going into a wave Y, and that completes the overall wave 2 correction. Now what we're looking for is this primary wave 3 of the larger trend. We're going to be looking for 5 waves up, like I have said, for this larger wave 3 if this is the bottom macro wave 2 that is now complete. That means that we're looking for this to be the longest wave. As an assumption, it doesn't have to be the longest wave. We're assuming that this wave is going to be long, and we can make price projections based on what's known as the Fibonacci trend-based extension. What we do is we take the termination of this bottom wave, or the origin of this wave 1. We take that, and then we take the termination of wave 1, and then the pivot of wave 2 that is assumed complete. And now we're going to be looking for at least the very least of an equality of this leg here. We're looking for a partner leg to at least complete against this wave 1, and that alone there is going to be a 5x gain from this current bottom. Now, if that's not the case, usually what you'll see for a wave 3 impulse is that it will be longer, and we will be seeing this wave 1 being breached, and we will see the 1.618, which is the target for a wave 3. That is the ideal target, where wave 1 is going to be times by 1.618 as the ideal target. So if that's the case, just based on this level alone, that could be even a 10x gain on that assumption alone. So if that's the case, we're looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5, and that should complete a possible wave 3. But since this was the top, we can even assume that wave 3 is now, it's not going to be this degree, but rather it's going to be 1 degree lower, and that right there is going to be possibly creating the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that will complete the larger cycle wave 3 that we're looking for here. So that's why we're working with the hierarchy of degrees. Now, if you don't know what hierarchy of degrees is, please go back to my previous video, because I do go in depth in discussing on how these degrees are created. They're not very difficult, but the most important thing is that as long as you have a good looking wave 5 wave structure to the upside, you get a pretty good gist of what degree you may be in. And in this case, since the all-time high is already so far away that we have it at $630 per ICP, we maybe just be working in the very beginning phase of this wave 3, meaning that we are in just a 5 wave structure of a wave 1 of this wave 3. Then we're looking for wave 2, 3, 4, 5, and in this case, this just may be the beginning of a larger trend where we could be looking for even a massive run to new all-time highs that could bring us even further, also all the way possibly up to here. Now, we don't want to be ambitious and say that ICP is going to be equaling $10,000 per ICP coin, because that would be obnoxious and kind of stupid to talk about, but we could still be very modest here and say that this level here is a very viable target of at least 10 to 20x gain, and at the very minimum of a possible 5x gain if we're seeing the first beginning of an equality wave being created for this leg here as a partner leg against this wave 1 here. Now, we do have also possible other corrective waves being created here. Instead of this being the ABC to the downside, we could alternatively be labeling this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. That leads us into a wave A, which means that we could be working in a larger wave A, B, C to the downside. But that doesn't really matter, because both scenarios are hybrid scenarios of each other, because we're looking for an actionary wave of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going into that wave 1. And now in this case, we're looking for a wave A going into this wave be. So that ABC, like I've said, an ABC corrective structure is what we're looking for this specific scenario. And in this case, we're looking for a partner leg of that wave C against this wave A. So if that's the case, this level here would be a very good conservative target. And like I've said, even that alone is a 5 to 10x gain. And then we can say to take profits around those regions and then let the markets do its own thing. If it continues up, that is where your own risk management strategy happens. Now, if that's the case, again, we really do not know. Crypto could be in for a surprise that where we see a massive increase in the complete total market cap increasing even further going forward into 2025 or 2026. We simply just do not know. But again, these targets are viable. However, we want to be very, very modest of our targets, and even with a modest target of a 5x gain, there's nothing to complain about that. So hopefully that was helpful. Those are my personal targets for ICP. I will do more altcoin updates for you guys. If you have not joined my XForce Discord membership group, please do not hesitate to contact me. The link is in the description below. If you're not following me on social media on X at XForceGlobal, please do give me a follow there as I do more daily updates there as well. Already, if you haven't subscribed, please do make sure to subscribe to the channel as I try to do more updates throughout the week. The more subscribers we get, the more motivation I get to create these types of videos. So hopefully that was helpful. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.